You never know where you're going to find a wild animal, so just always be prepared. Unless apparently you're from the UK.
Oh, yeah.
So we watched...
British people suck in the wild. Like, what the fuck?
So Alone is a show that we've watched.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, quite a few times. There's several versions of it. Usually it's in Canada. Basically, they take 10 people or 12 or whatever, and they say, here is a place that you are not likely to want to stay for more than 100 days. We're going to drop you off by yourself with a bag full of shit. Film it. Yeah. TV show. So there's been recently an Australian version. We kind of talked about it. It wasn't great. Yeah. I thought Australians would be a little more rugged.
The lady who won was awesome.
Yeah, but a lot of them they went to Tasmania, and a lot of them were like, it's so cold and
it's like
I can't eat
1 degree Celsius.
I can't eat the wallabies. Yeah. Oh, they won't let me kill the wallabies. And it was just kind of like fucked up. Like it was just like I expected more.
Yeah.
So then cut forward to the now newest one, which I think is probably came of the writer's strike. They were like, let's find like 12 people in England or in the UK who have never been outside.
They had to have started filming this prior though to the writer's strike. See, so this is my analysis of the show. Because British people killed off all of the dangerous things on the British Isles, they don't know how to like be in nature anymore.
They're like, oh, seagulls.
Yeah. So like quite literally, British people are so lucky that like native people helped them when they came over here, because otherwise like you really would have died.
If this show is evidence of your actual wilderness survival abilities, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The UK version we watched last night.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes are out.
Yes. So the UK, they had several people, and we actually found this article while I was complaining about it on Discord. And then I typed in like, oh, what are people saying about this? And this article, we didn't even need to like categorize our thoughts, because this
did such a great job.
Oh, it's perfect. We're literally just gonna find the
You're
pieces.
blocking some great cat content right now.
Oh, am I?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, let me get the cat content.
Yeah, back. Look at that cat content.
Yeah, so I was like, I literally said to Krissy, I was like, it's almost as if these people have never gone camping before.
Maybe it's because we see coyotes on like a daily basis.
Yeah.
That is just like...
I know that obviously there's places a little more wild, and I started wondering, so do they camp in public parks with like concession stands and shit? Or do they like in the UK, do they actually have like a wild park?
I think so, but like I said, there's no like bears or anything dangerous existing.
So like
in the
squirrels and seagulls.
Yeah, and I think sheep.
Well, I'm not talking about who they date.
Yeah. Like I don't think there's any dangerous animals in the UK anymore. They've literally killed all of them off.
Yeah. So the title. Have the Alone review. Have any of this survival show's contestants even been outside? They have to survive in the wilderness for as long as possible, but these Brits can't start fires. They're constantly terrified and can't be trusted with sharp objects.
Oh yeah, one guy is there for like half an hour and axes himself in the leg.
Yes, he looks like one of the Mackenzies from Outlander. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to cut down this tree so it doesn't fall on me. Hits himself in the leg. Yeah. Fucking phones. I've got to go home.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, it's not even lunch. It's not even supper time yet. Yeah. And then it cuts to another woman who's like, I thought it would be easier than this. And she starts crying, and it's not even nighttime yet. It's insanity. So
It's like they never actually watched the show before.
Whoever Lucy Mangan is
she tears
of
into
The
them.
Guardian.
Oh, such a well-written article.
Oh
This
my
thing's
God.
hilarious.
First of all, none of them look to have gained any weight
No.
before coming out. They're literally the one person. There's people that have been dropped off who don't eat for like a week while they set up their camp and all their stuff. These people, it was like the next morning and they're like, oh, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
One guy starts eating birch bark, which I've only ever seen people do at like day 50.
Yeah.
They're like, there's literally nothing else to eat. Winter is coming. I'm going to eat birch bark.
I'll say probably the most entertaining thing about Alone UK is they'll show naked people.
Yeah, that's true. They did,
You'll see some
surprisingly,
bum.
2 butts.
Yeah.
So this particular article, she didn't even get to see the second episode.
No, she only saw the first episode.
She only watched the first episode.
The
Usually,
longest.
I think the reason they picked Canada, so it's usually in BC. The newest one is in Saskatchewan, where we are. And these UK people were dropped off in the Northwest Territories.
Where is it, the Northwest Territories? Because I know
I
they're
Googled
mentioning
it.
like the Mackenzie River.
Yeah, which is in the Northwest Territories. And it's the Northwest Territories. I mean, it's a pretty wild place.
It is the Canadian
not very
Shield.
populated.
I would not want to be dropped off in the Canadian Shield. You're going to be dealing with a shitload of mosquitoes, a shitload of ticks. You're going to have you're going to have martens, which are kind of like little weasels. They're very cute.
Martens.
You're going to have bears. You're going to have
Yodis.
Yodis. They're probably wolverines. Cougars, like mountain lions. Like, I would not. There's just lots of things living in the Canadian wilderness that are not fun.
Yeah.
Like, even where we are, like I said, we see we hear coyotes almost every single night. Just the other night, I was out in our front yard and I saw one just like walking across the highway. Like, it was only like probably like 50 yards away from me. There's like a huge coyote den right across the highway.
Yeah, we didn't know, but like at nighttime you hear a whole slew of coyotes. Oddly enough, the hunting rules for the marten, where the season of Alone in Saskatchewan is, they can shoot it with arrows.
Yeah, but you can't trap it.
But you can't trap it or kill it with a blunt instrument.
Yeah.
So there's one of them is like watching it go and steal all their shit and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So, and there was like another guy who, like, a marten got stuck in one of his traps and he had to let the marten go, which also like he had to put his jacket on it so he didn't get attacked by this fucking
it's
thing.
so funny. Only one episode was available for review, but so far everything is going as you would expect. One person axes himself in the leg while building a shelter and has to be airlifted home before the first afternoon is over. Another looks around the acres of trees before her and wonder how she's going to manage when I get lost in Tesco. And no one, with the possible exception of builder Louis and his bottom, a naked shot of which opens the program and is the most interesting thing we see, is camera ready. Yeah, that's true. There was a butt.
Yeah, and then another lady, you see her naked because she goes for a dip.
British transcript of the episode would look roughly like, shit, I'm hearing noises, Christ, bollocks, I've just axed myself in the leg.
You sounded very Australian there for a little bit.
I know,
too.
fuck. They're Australians are just British criminals, so little bastards, fuck you. Fuck you. The last is verbatim from Louis, who unleashes one of his 8 arrows at a brace of ducks so far away that Robin Hood himself would have had a tough job hitting them, and to no one's surprise, especially not the unflinching ducks, he misses. He shoots a rock, and it destroys one of his few arrows.
The contestants have been on a 9-day training course, but it appears that very little of it stuck. It is possible that apart from Alan, an experienced forager who is autistic and has always found solace in the peace of nature, they have never been outside before. Laura, an entrepreneur, is reduced to tears by the size of her tarp. Eva, an NHS project manager, cannot get a fire going in the first 24 hours. Elise finds the underfoot moss a lot thicker and spikier than I expected.
It's literally like it's quite crazy.
Yeah.
There's a 19-year-old.
He's never been away from home before. I don't
necessarily know how to say his name. Kian. And it's his first time away from home.
Imagine this being your first time away from home.
It's like they literally were just like, "Hey, excuse me, kid, have you ever been outside of...
Would you like to go camping?
Have you ever heard of camping?" So he's never done anything, but he's very interested in it and has read a lot of books. And he says sweetly that he is very aware of his inexperience.
And I'm sorry, like, book knowledge isn't really, like, it's useful, but if it's never been applied... God.
I said as soon as we seen him, I said 36 hours he's going home. It was like almost to a T.
Yeah, at the end of the second episode he left, I think. Didn't he call it in?
Yeah, he was just like, he literally said, I didn't have fun yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm going home. It was like, what?
Making it sound a lot more fun than it is. It is an hour of people creeping cautiously through woods and startling at sounds we cannot hear, and then lying awake all night telling us how frightened they feel. Yeah. It's very boring watching people be scared by noises.
It is. So for us, it's interesting because we have other seasons to compare it to, right?
I think within the first 2 episodes, didn't 4 people tap out?
It was is it 3 or 4? It was quite a few. It was not.
It's a sad outing for Alone.
So the thing that I find interesting, because I do know, again, from my niche perspective of life, camping is a very popular thing we do. And like my cousin's wife from the Philippines says, like, why do you guys pretend to be homeless for like a month of the year soon as it's nice out?
Go out in the wilderness with some beers.
And I mean, looking at it from that perspective, I get it. You know, a lot of people are like, we'll take a break from our lives and do something nice, whereas we're like, we'll take a break from our lives and go shit in the woods.
It's the time of year we can go touch grass.
Yeah.
Especially because so much of the year here is really cold, where you have to stay inside and you can't really go do things. So you're like, summertime.